Hi there guys, this is Danny and welcome to this episode of All Monsters Go to Space. Today I'm going to be talking about the Chinese butterfly lovers legend, also known as Liang Xu, abbreviated from Liang Shanbo and Xu Yingtai, the characters. The story is set in the Eastern Jin dynasty about 265 to 420 AD. Xu Yingtai is the 9th child and only daughter of the wealthy Xu family of Shangyu in Zhejiang. Although women are traditionally discouraged from taking up scholarly pursuits, Xu manages to convince her father to allow her to attend classes in the disguise of a man. During her journey to Hangzhou, she meets Liang Shanbo, who is a scholar from Kueiji, also known as present-day Shaoxing. They chat and they feel a strong affinity for each other at their first meeting, so they gather some soil as incense and take an oath of fraternity in the pavilion of a thatched bridge. They study together for the next 3 years in school, and Xu finally falls in love with Liang. Although Liang is equal to Xu in their studies, he's still a bookworm and has failed to notice the feminine characteristics that his classmate seems to have. One day, Xu receives a letter from her father asking her to return home as soon as possible. She has no choice but to pack her belongings immediately and bid Liang farewell. However, in her heart, she has already confessed her love for him and is determined to be with him for all eternity. So before her departure, she reveals her true identity to the headmaster's wife and asks her to pass a jade pendant to Liang as a betrothal gift. Liang accompanies his sworn brother for 18 miles to see her off. During the journey, she tries to hint to Liang that she's actually a woman. For example, she compares them both to a pair of mandarin ducks, which in Chinese culture is the symbol of lovers. But he doesn't get her hints and does not even have the slightest suspicion that his companion is actually a woman. Xu finally comes up with an idea and tells Liang that she will act as a matchmaker for him and her sister. Before they part, Xu reminds Liang to visit the residence later so that he can propose marriage to her sister. Liang and Xu reluctantly part ways at the Chanting Pavilion. Months later, Liang visits Xu and discovers that she's actually a woman. They become devoted to each other and make a vow to the effect of till death do us part. But the joy of their reunion is short-lived, as Xu's parents have already arranged for her to marry Ma Wentai, a man from a very rich family. Liang is heartbroken when he hears the news, and his health gradually deteriorates until he becomes critically ill. He dies later in office as a county magistrate. On the day of Ma and Xu's marriage, strong winds prevent the wedding procession from escorting the bride beyond Liang's grave, which lies along the journey. Xu leaves the procession to pay her respects at his grave. She descends in bitter despair and begs for the grave to open up. Suddenly the grave does with a clap of thunder. Without further hesitation, she throws herself into the grave to join Liang. Their spirits emerge in the form of a pair of butterflies and fly away together, never to be separated again. The story has now been counted as one of China's 4 great folk tales, and 6 cities have collaborated in 2004 on a formal application for a proclamation of masterpieces of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. The earliest record of this story has actually been traced back to the Tang dynasty, which is around 618 to 907 AD. In the Shidao Sifanxi, the author Liang Xian wrote, "The righteous woman Xu Yingtai was buried together with Liang Shanbo." In another version of the story, in the Xuanxi, the author Xiang Du wrote, "Yingtai, a daughter of the Xu family of Xiangyu, disguised herself as a man and attended school together with Liang Shanbo from Kueiji. Shanbo's courtesy name was Chiren. Xu returned home first. 2 years later, Shanbo visited her and only knew that she was a woman then. He was disappointed and felt as though he had made a loss. He asked her parents for her hand in marriage, but her family had already betrothed her to the Ma family. Shanbo assumed office as a magistrate in Yin, or present-day Western Ningbo, and died of illness later and was buried west of the city of Mao, in eastern Ningbo. Xu was on her journey to the Ma residence by boat and passed by Liang's grave. The strong wind and waves prevent the boat from advancing. After learning that it was Shanbo's grave, she set foot on land and broke down. The ground suddenly cracked open and Xu was buried within. Jin Dynasty Chancellor Xian proclaimed the grave as the tomb of the righteous woman. The legend has also been recorded in various official records such as the Yinxianqi, Ningbofu Qi, and Yixing Jingxi Xin Qi. The Liangxiu Culture Park opposite to the Yayu River features multiple sceneries following the storyline, from becoming sworn brothers at Thatched Bridge, onto bullying classmates for 3 years, to 18 times of send-off, and the reunion of the butterfly lovers. And the Liangshanbo Temple was built in the year 347 AD by locals in memory to Lang Hu, when he was a county magistrate, contributed to resolving the problem caused by the flooding. It is located in the Shaojiadu village, Gaqiao town 5 miles west of Ningbo City. It contains a seated couple statue with suit dressed in the phoenix coronet and embroidered cape, seated on the right of Liang, and the rear hall is actually their bedroom, which is set with a vermilion wooden bed which has their tomb behind it. Also in Verona, as we know the place of Romeo and Juliet, held on Wednesday, September 24, 2008, the Sino-Italian Love Culture Festival was held in the northern city of Verona, and the municipal government of both Verona and Ningbo City co-sponsored it. And a white marble statue portraying the lovers was placed in the square in front of the Juliet Museum, or the Tombe de Giulietta. Legend has inspired many stage plays and operas in several varieties and throughout China, like the Shaoxing Opera, and In the Shade of the Willow by the Sichuan Opera. The version from the Yue Opera was actually made into a colour motion picture in the 1950s. And in September 2013, the Shaw Brothers Studio from the University of Melbourne, with a Chinese music group, produced the musical The Lover Turn. In 1994, the Hong Kong film produced The Lovers. In 2008, a film from Hong Kong was made called The Butterfly Lovers. And in 1999, it inspired the TV series Kishifuki and Xianliang Shanboyu Zhu Yengtai. In 1958, the story inspired the production of the Butterfly Lovers Violin Concerto, and in 2004, Butterfly was the 15th track in Shining Energy by the 12 Girls Band, and it's inspired so many others. Well, that's about it for this video. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced any of the words. I'm not a fluent Chinese speaker in any way, shape or form. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and let me know if there are any other legends you would like us to cover in the comments section below, and hopefully we'll get to it soon. Bye!